Welcome back. The World Economic Forum, in its recent Global Competitiveness Index report for technological readiness, ranked Nigeria 106 out of 140 countries surveyed. Now, according to Women and the Web report, 200 million fewer women than men have access to internet in Africa. Here in Nigeria, there is no clear data of the number of women who have access to the internet, and so many initiatives have actually come up with regards how more women and girls can actually be helped to better appreciate not just the internet but the ICT as a whole. Martha Alade, President, Women in Technology in Nigeria and currently the Vice President, Nigerian Swedish Chamber of Commerce, joins me now to talk about some of these issues. Good morning to you, Martha.
Good morning, Harriet.
So it's not very, happy figures for us, ranked 106 out of 140 countries in terms of technological readiness. What do you think is responsible for this low ranking?
Well, there are several reasons, but one of the reasons is definitely because we have a huge gender parity in terms of technological adoption and use. So with that figure you just quoted, all these global rankings is an average. And so when you are measuring competitiveness in terms of technology for men and women, so even if the men figure is very high and that of the women is low, when you get the average, it gives us low. So I want to look at that as one of the major reasons why we remain low in these rankings globally.
But why is it that, you said, looking at it on an average level, we have, for the women, really low than the men? Why do we still have that? If you ask me, we have a lot of women these days who use more Android-based phones than the men, and it seems they're on almost all the social media platforms. Why can you, so in spite of that, would you still say we have a low ranking in terms of the use of the internet?
Yes, we still do. And I will just mention like 5 reasons for this. For example, we still have the stereotypes and social cultural barriers today. We still have lack of access to these technologies, like the urban poor. The urban poor may see these technologies, may desire these technologies, but they still cannot afford them. The rural poor do not even have these infrastructures. Then we have the leaky pipeline, which is a concept that describes how women drop from the field of technology from kindergarten to the university. And then we have ignorance, just like you said. A lot of women may have these Android devices, but what do they do with them? Are they maximizing them? If you tell me to rate a lot of them, it might just be 5% out of 100 usability. They are not using these features. We have a lot of wonderful applications available for Android that could boost their businesses, that could transform their lives. But you see them stopping at the level of social media, Facebook and mobile, just making calls. But they could do emails, they could do business applications that could help them. And then lastly, we still have inadequate government interventions that could really bridge this digital divide.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that government, because in the last administration, I remember there were a number of initiatives, and your organization, Women in Technology in Nigeria, was actually one of such organizations selected to partner with the federal government to promote ICT-based, initiatives for women and girls in urban and rural areas. Tell us a little bit more about it. Okay.
Last year, the federal government, through the Ministry of Communications Technology, launched the Digital Girls Club. And to me, that is a wonderful initiative, a huge success. And the idea of the club is the intervention is at the level of secondary school, to get more girls interested in the field of technology from secondary school by getting them enrolled in clubs and making them to understand technology from the very basics and getting them interested. And the club was launched. And today we have hundreds of schools enrolled all around Nigeria, and now it's open for all schools. So that's a government intervention, which I believe this present administration can take a cue into, because definitely that's a public policy, it's a legislation and intervention, whatever we decide to call it, that has scaled around the whole of Nigeria and has really impacted the lives of girls. And when I was talking about, when I was listing those issues, I talked about the leaky pipeline. If we are going to make a very impactful intervention, one of the best ways is to go through the schools, education, and that is what that initiative addresses at the education level. The leaking pipeline addresses women dropping from the field of technology from school. So when you intervene at that level of maybe primary education, secondary education, it goes a long way to bridge this digital divide.
So how much intervention has has this intervention achieved? How many girls, how many girls have actually successfully gone through these initiatives and added their own quota to the system?
I don't have the raw figure, but I know thousands of girls in all almost all the states are running that program now, public schools, and more girls are coming in because it is open. So it's a very powerful intervention that I think will do a lot bridging that gap.
So now, in terms of educating, you talked about the fact that a lot of female folks who have Android-based devices do not understand how strong it is, the power of that device is, and so they are concentrating more on the social media aspect and not the other aspects which can, like you said, develop their businesses. Well, why do you think this is so? Is it that there isn't enough talk from organizations such as yours to help them see the viability of using such devices to promote not just their business, but to develop themselves as well?
Well, yes, part of that's partly the reason. But then, NGOs have a limit to the numbers they can reach. And it still brings me back to what I said about government. We need more sensitization. We need more education, more awareness to let these women know what they can do. But in our own little way, we have been able to reach several women all around Nigeria, thousands, through the help of our international partnership. We are currently running a program empowering women through technology, and we have reached over 14,000 women across Nigeria, and this is made possible through the partnership with multinationals like Intel and USAID, NetHope. They are the one we are just implementing for them, and so we can't do it alone. It requires a multi-stakeholder intervention. Probably we are just few doing this. So if we have more people doing it, more support, more participation from the government, I believe that we can do more.
But why does it always have to be government? Because yes, government has to do a major part of everything, but like you pointed out, NGOs and even the private sector, aside from non-governmental organizations, need to take a lead in helping to encourage young girls. Now, International Girl Child Day is on October 11. Is there going to be anything to really celebrate? Because one of the many issues that have come up is how to encourage more girl-child appreciation of not just the internet but the ICT, because the world is a global village and every day things evolve, and we're having less women participating in key positions in communication technology than men. Well,
like the IDG, that's the International Day of the Girl Child, is just an opportunity to create more awareness. We shouldn't underestimate the power of awareness. So having that day set aside for the girl child, it gives everyone the opportunity to pay a closer look at the issue and to give more attention to the intensity of the problem that is on ground. And not just the IDG, we have the International Girls in ICT. They celebrated the 4th Thursday of every April. That's another day that has been able to pull global attention, and people having various programs and initiatives to mark the day events to bridge this gap. And then we should also know that it's a global concern. That's why I was really impressed to see that achieving gender equality and empowering women still maintain the 5th position in the agenda for sustainable development. And if you look at the target, 5.B specifically said that to enhance the enabling use of technology, especially ICTs, in the empowerment of women. And that is why I'm so excited in the projects I'm running with these international organizations to reach out to more women across Nigeria to empower them through technology.
So you're expecting to see, yes, I wanted you to, give us a percentage level of women who actually appreciate technology here in Nigeria as against other African countries.
We don't have a definite figure, but I do know that sometimes when we look at even the social media, we still have more men on the social media. I remembered sometimes when we do Facebook marketing and you look at, maybe you post, even on YouTube, you post a video, you can actually check how many men are looking at it and how many women are looking at that video. And most of the times we get like 70-30, 70% men, okay, ratio 7-3.
Okay.
So I think, and same on YouTube, same on Facebook, that gives us an idea of the level of participation of both sexes on the internet.
And do you think this is going to reduce anytime soon, especially since, we have organizations such as yours trying to champion the cause of encouraging more female folk to buy into being more relevant in the technology space?
Definitely, definitely. If we could do, we could reach out to over 14,000 women in just, in about a year. I believe that before 2030, would have made a huge...
But that's still a very low number. But it's quite amazing how optimistic that you are. You are about this numbers growing, because 14,000 in a year is actually low.
For one organization, imagine if we have a multiplier effect and we have several interventions from different stakeholders, and it's going to sum up to become something really huge.
Well, thank you so much, Martha, for coming on the program this morning and giving us your perspectives on issues with regards to women in technology.
Thank you, Harriet.
Well, Martha Alade is the President, Women in Technology in Nigeria, and she's currently the Vice President, Nigerian Swedish Chamber of Commerce, giving us her perspectives on issues with regards women in technology. The number is still quite low, but she's quite optimistic that with more initiatives coming on board and being introduced, then definitely we'll have more girls and women buying into not just being on social media, but using the technology aspect of their devices very efficiently to build their business and develop themselves as well. Well, Business Morning will continue in just a moment. Please stay with us.